Okay guys, here we are again. This week's lesson is going to be on writing equations. You're going to be given all kinds of different information and you have to write the equation for it. Your answer for everything we do this whole entire week is going to be y equals mx plus b. And get this focused. And you need to have a number for the m and you need to have a number for the b. So your answer is going to be y equals something, x plus something. And there needs to be a number here and a number here. So your answer is going to be things like y equals 2x plus 1. Y equals 3/4 x minus 5. Things like that. So every answer is going to be y equals something, x plus something. Okay. Another thing to remember. M. M is the slope. Some problems will say m equals 5, m equals 7, m equals a half. Some problems will say slope equals 5, slope equals 7, slope equals half. Either way, it's the exact same thing. Whatever they tell you for slope goes in this box. Remember the b is the y-intercept. And sometimes they will say b, sometimes they will say the y-intercept. The y-intercept, if you forgot. The y-intercept is where a line hits the y-axis. So for example, this line right here. This line hits the y-axis at 2. Up 2, so the y-intercept would be 2. So that's what you're looking for. Where does the line hit this axis right here? That is your b, or your y-intercept. Now they could really try to trick you, and instead of saying either one of these, they could give you the point. For example, this point here is 0, 2. So they can give you 0, anything. Maybe they give you 0, -3. Well, 0, -3 means over 0 down 3, which is this point here. So any point with 0, something, that is a way to say y-intercept or b. So if they're really nice to you, they'll tell you either one of these. If they're trying to mess with you, they'll give you something like this, and you just have to know that over 0 up 2, that's the y-intercept. Over 0 down 3, that's the y-intercept. So this could get a little tricky. Now, what are your problems going to look like? You're going to have some very easy problems. Then you're going to have some that I call medium. You're going to have some that I call hard. Then you're going to have some really, really, really difficult ones. So I'm going to start out and show you what some of the easy and mediums look like. This is just from a book I found. The easy problems, they're going to come right out and tell you the slope and the y-intercept. Okay, I can write in this book. So, for example, zoom in here a little bit. This problem, slope is 0, y-intercept's 9. Remember, y equals mx plus b. M is the slope. B is the y-intercept. Don't think too hard. Put a 0 there for m, put a 9 for b, and there's your answer. Now, if you happen to look in the back of the book or you're taking your ACT or SAT, with this 0, they're probably not even going to put the 0 there. They're just going to let that go. You'll probably see something like y equals 9. Don't know why they did that for your very first problem, but sometimes when there's a 0 there, you just kind of ignore it because there's no x's. That would be your answer. Let's jump down one. Here they tell you the slope is -3 and the y-intercept is 7. So once again, y equals mx plus b. Your answer must have a number for the m. Your answer must have a number for the b. So you're going to put the -3 for the m. You're going to put the 7 for the y-intercept. So this particular worksheet says the word slope. It says y-intercept. You'll see some today where they put m equals -3, b equals 7. Or they could try to trick you and say 0, 7. Remember, 0, anything is on that y-axis. So 0, 7 is the y-intercept. So hopefully that makes sense. Those are pretty easy. Don't think too hard on that. You may have fractions here, you may have fractions here, no big deal. Next one's what I call medium. Not too bad. They're going to give you a picture. And you got to come up with the equation just by seeing this picture. Now, I don't know why my projector keeps going red, but there we go. So you look at this picture, we know our goal is to have y equals mx plus b. And I must have a number for the m, and I must have a number for the b. So, the b is usually the easiest. B is where does the line cross the y-axis? Well, this is going up by 1, 2, 3, 4, -1, -2, -3, so on. So this line crosses, they even told you. Most of the time they're not going to tell you, you're going to have to count. Here's the origin. So this line crosses down 1. So the y-intercept is -1. Now for slope, you got to go back to what we did last week. You got to find you any 2 points on this line, and this particular worksheet was nice to you. They gave you a couple points to use, but you can use any points you want. And we got to count the rise and run. So I'm going to go this way. So the rise is 1, 2, 3, 4, and the run is 1. So the rise is 4, the run is 1. So slope is rise over run. Hopefully remember that. So I can write that out here. Rise over run. So for us, it is 4 over 1. And 4 over 1 is just 4. Now if this is 4 over 3, just leave it a fraction. If this is 4 over 5, leave it a fraction. 4 over 1 is just a 4. So I'm going to put a 4 right here. Before you quit, is this line positive or negative? So this is one of those cases where you got to figure it out on your own. Remember the little bike method I talked about last week? You always put your bike on the left side of the line. Well, if I draw a little bike right here where my pen is, you're going to be going downhill, so slope is negative. So there you go. So when you're given a picture, you got to figure out the slope and you got to figure out the y-intercept. Let's do one more. Let's just go over one here. So on this one, we know we got to do y equals mx plus b. I need a number for the m. I need a number for the b. So the m, actually let's do b first. B is always the easiest. Where does it cross the y-axis? Here is the y-axis, and it crosses right in the middle. So the y-intercept is 0, because we're not going up, we're not going down, so the y-intercept is 0. Slope. So I need to find the rise and the run between these two dots. Now, like I said, you can use any dot you want. Maybe you want to use this dot here and this dot here. You don't have to use what they pick. Anyway, so the rise is 1, 2, 3, 4. So the rise is 4. And the run is 2. So rise over run is 4 over 2. 4 divided by 2 is 2. So the slope is 2. Now, is this line going uphill or downhill? So I draw my little bike right here, and I'm riding my bike. I'm going to be going uphill, so the slope is positive. So, and since we have a 0 here, if you were looking in the back of the book or taking your ACT or SAT, they'll probably just leave this out. So you'll probably see a choice for an answer just simply being y equals 2x. Okay. So hopefully that helps you out. And actually, let me draw a picture of a trick problem here real quick. This kind of goes back to the bell ring. So let me do this very quickly. Where they may try to trick you is give you a horizontal or a vertical line. And let's go to this one. Let's say you have this line here. A horizontal line. And you want to know the equation of it. It's still going to be y equals mx plus b. So you ask yourself, b, where does the line cross the y-axis? Well, it crosses up 1, 2, 3. So the y-intercept is 3. Remember, I need a number for the m and a number for the b. Slope. Pick yourself any 2 points you want. And hopefully you remember this from last week. So maybe I want this point here, maybe this point here. Rise over run. What's the rise between these points? 0. What's the run between these 2 points? 1, 2. What is 0 divided by 2? 0. If you remember the lessons from last week, remember this line? This is where we said you go sled riding in Kansas. How much fun do you have when you go sled riding in Kansas? You have 0 fun when you go sled riding in Kansas. So the slope is 0. So your answer is y equals 0x plus 3, which you'll probably see written as just y equals 3. We get rid of the 0 part. If you remember in the bell ringer a few weeks ago, we had those y equal lines. Any horizontal line is a y equal line because the x is a 0, the slope is 0. So you may see some tricks with that. And think back to that bell ringer. This is simply y equals 3 because they always hit the y-axis. The opposite of that, over here, think of a vertical line. Now this really isn't going to work out with the y equals mx plus b stuff, but just remember, vertical lines always hit the x-axis. So this is an x equal line. And you simply say, where does it hit x at? 1, 2, 3, 4. So x equals 4. So hopefully that helps you with the easy and the mediums. I'll have a video here in a second on the hard and the really hard ones.